Okay, well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the PE Classrooms June webinar. It's really exciting to have you here today. We'll be taking you through a bit of a journey, a bit of a transition to Classroom 42, exploring the journey so far, what's changing, what's not changing, features, a live demo setup, and of course, a founder Q&A at the end. My name's John. I'm the head of commercial here at Classroom 42 and the PE Classroom. And at the very end, I'll take you through what the steps you need to do to claim that £100 discount and the 800 plus resources package. But without further ado, 5 years in the making, I'm going to pass over to Tom Subble, our founder. Tom, over to you.
Thanks, John. Thanks very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to presume everyone can see and hear me okay. If not, one of my colleagues will shout up. I was looking through the names of those signed up before the session a little bit earlier on. I could see, which is absolutely brilliant. There are so many members who have been with us for many years who are on this webinar this evening. So hopefully it'll be a little bit nostalgic for some of those people. It definitely will be for me, but it's quite a big moment for the PE Classroom and for the company. So we wanted to take you on, go through the journey a little bit of how we've got to where we've got to today, but more importantly, talk about the future, which we hope all of our current members and many other PE teachers will be a part of over the coming years. So I will move on. So the journey so far, so the PE Classroom, we've been running since 2018, and it definitely has been a bit of a journey. I'll take you back a little way, but so I was a PE teacher for many years. I taught in the UK before going over to the UAE for several years to teach over there. And having sort of gone through GCSE PE in the UK, I entered school in Abu Dhabi, did 1 year of teaching, and it was when the new specifications came in at that point for GCSE and A-level PE. And lots of you will probably remember if you were teaching at that point, but as is the case, you get the new specs and you have nothing to use in terms of content to deliver, in terms of slideshows, resources. And we were very much the same. And I think it was even more difficult over in Abu Dhabi, particularly because I was quite new there. I didn't have a base of colleagues who I could sort of rely on, or didn't have other schools to network with, to share resources. So I ended up starting from scratch and creating some of my own. My vision at that point was purely just to get as much great content across to my pupils as possible. So the only real goal was to give my pupils the content in an engaging way, so booklets and slideshows, sporting examples that they could relate to, in order to help them with their exams. I didn't worry too much about if they were pedagogically sound. For example, I wasn't thinking about differentiated tasks or making sure there was the needs of different learners was being delivered to. It was more about just getting the content across in an engaging way. So I spent a couple of years building these booklets and slideshows, and then I started to share them with colleagues in the school, started to share them with colleagues across Abu Dhabi and colleagues back in the UK as well. And then slowly but surely, as the bank built, thought about trying to put them onto a website. So that's when the vision got bigger in terms of trying to get support out there to PE teachers and to PE students. So how can we try to improve the grades of PE teachers? How can we improve the workload or reduce the workload for PE teachers? And that's where PE Classroom was really born. So I'll move on to the next slide. So this is an image here of the website in the early days, around about 2018. You can see at the top here is the banner of the website is an image. That's the classroom where PE Classroom really was built. So in Abu Dhabi, that was the classroom, our PE Classroom that I was teaching in, is where I created lots of resources and tested out delivering different bits and bobs. But that really was the start of the platform. It was a real challenge putting together the website. It took a lot of time and effort, and that can't really be understated, but slowly managed to get more and more onto the site, and added raw resources, and then started to think about a learning area for pupils. And I think this is a common theme as I'm going to be going through over the next 5 minutes or so. But hopefully you'll notice every time we sort of hit a bit of a milestone, it was my intention that we didn't stand still at that point, and we continued to grow, and it was always thinking about, well, what do we do next? And that very much is still the case today. So 2021, 2022, so fast forward a little bit, this was during the COVID years, and it was just when online learning, obviously teachers were absolutely desperate for it, and it became a real thing with lots of edtech companies popping up as well. We already had a bit of a base, obviously, of PE teachers, and we'd help them out with resources. So my thoughts were, how can we offer further support? How can we help students further? How can we reduce the workload of teachers as well? So we started to build an online community, really. And you can see from the images down the right-hand side, this was where I went from the first years of being on my own and teaching PE alongside building PE Classroom, but then managed to take on a couple of colleagues at that point. So Olivia's with us tonight. She was the first employee of PE Classroom, and then you can also see Lorna's image as well. And I know lots of you know Lorna via emails and have lots of backwards and forwards as she supports you with your membership and with the platform as well. At that point, I think we did have specific job roles, but to be honest, Lorna and Olivia were doing absolutely everything, as was I, as you sort of do in a small company when you're trying different things and trying to get as much support out there as possible to the PE community. But we started to build videos and put videos together. We started to put quizzes together. Again, the challenge of doing that and building our audience cannot be understated, and it took a lot of trial and error, but it seemed to hit a chord with the PE community. So we started to run webinars, a bit like tonight, where we could offer support, a bit of CPD. New courses came in, such as the BTEC and Cambridge Nationals, and we managed to offer support and build our resources and online community within those areas as well. But again, at that point, I think around about then, 21, 22, we'd started to build quizzes and videos, and we thought, well, what's next? And this was the first time we really thought about innovation and trying to do something different. Innovation is very difficult when you have got a very minimal budget, if any budget at all. So what we did was we wanted to support pupils and teachers with marking and exam question support. So as being a teacher, I knew the importance of that. Content delivery is one thing, but exam technique something completely different. So we started to put exam questions out there, and we created a little tool whereby pupils could write in an answer to an exam question, press submit, their answer would lock in, and they could then watch a video which we had put together running through the mark scheme. So the pupil could then mark their own work, and it would then save for them, but also for the teacher as well. So saving the teacher a bit of time. Again, that was a lot of effort putting all of those videos together, and it really was a team effort at that point. But again, the PE community seemed to enjoy that innovation that we were trying to put together. Fast forward again a year or so, or a couple of years down the line, and we suddenly, for the first time, we're hearing things about ChatGPT and AI as well. We were lucky enough at that time to be able to take on another employee. So you can see Haida down in the bottom right, who again is still with us today. Haida's our web developer and AI developer. I think Haida started in October 2023, if I'm correct, and within about 4 months, we had managed to pretty much be the first platform, or the first one I had seen, to get AI marking onto a website to support teachers and pupils. And that's not just the first PE platform, the first education platform to do that. So that was again a massive team effort, and that was our first sort of true innovation where we could see a tool that we'd created from scratch, how that could positively impact schools, pupils, teachers, and education in general, which again offered a lot of motivation at that point. And hopefully lots of you remember these steps and maybe how they supported you over the last 5 years or so. So where we've got to today then, and you can see an image of the homepage here, and I've just put as the title of this slide, widening our reach and our future ambition. So I think I've made that clear over just the past sort of 5 minutes and the past 5 or 6 slides, but at every stage of the journey, we've sort of reached a little bit of a target, but we've not wanted to stand still. And it's always been a question of, well, how do we support students further? How do we support teachers further and reduce their workload as well? So around about 2024, we started to consider how we could go beyond PE. So the PE platform, we had lots of features at that point we brought in the AI marking, we had brought in Exam Builder, we had quizzes, we had videos, we had tracking and assessment. We were getting lots of positive feedback from the brilliant PE community. So we started to create a little bit of content for other subjects, and Olivia was a big part of this, creating history content and trying to meet and build our history audience a little bit. And again, it took a bit of time to get that right, but the feedback was very good over the next year or so. And we ended up building Classroom 42 and starting to add history before going to geography, before going to science and religious studies. And now we're adding more and more subjects on Classroom 42 all of the time. So that's been a bit of a project over the last couple of years. Sean, our head of education, who's here tonight as well, you can see at the bottom of the screen there. So he joined in 2025 as our head of education and was a big part of putting these courses together as well as offering support to PE teachers too. But we've got to the point over the last 12 months and then making a decision more recently than that. But it's a great time for PE Classroom to have a new home and to become part of Classroom 42. We've built Classroom 42, the platform, knowing a bit more where we want to get to and what the capabilities are. So PE Classroom was built by myself originally in 2018 whilst teaching, working things out as I went. But with Classroom 42 only starting on it a couple of years ago, we knew that we wanted to be multi-subject. We knew that we wanted tens of thousands of pupils to be using it week in, week out, and thousands of teachers as well. So the platform has been built with that in mind. And it means for PE teachers that we can offer all sorts of innovation improvements over the coming years. And Olivia is going to show some of those features that you're going to see right away. So it feels like quite a big time for PE Classroom as we build that new home for our PE audience. In terms of where we got to, I've kept coming back to, obviously, it's always been our aim of improving grades of pupils, even from the early days when I was just trying to improve the grades of my own students within my GCSE PE class. And then it quickly became about reducing teacher workload as well. What's not changing though? So you'll hear tonight from Olivia and from Sean and from John as well about some of the positive changes that are happening to PE Classroom as we become part of Classroom 42. What is not changing, which we really want to get across to our member base and to all PE teachers, are our values. So we created these values several years ago, and I really hope that you agree we follow them in everything that we do. But the first one is community. So we want to keep that PE community. We've been running webinars, for example, for several years now, where we get lots and lots of PE teachers come together, where we can offer support. PE teachers can liaise with each other as well. Trust. So we want you to be able to trust us as the PE specialists. That's not going to change. we're still the same people. I think when you hear of the words merger or change, you think, oh, the company's been bought, it's different people running the show. That is absolutely not the case. It's the same people as it has been over the years. Excellence, again, in the content, in the way that we respond, the way we support you, excellence will remain. Innovation, I hope I've got that one across as well. And it's a big reason why we're making these changes, is because we want to be innovative, especially as AI becomes more prominent in education. We want to be able to use that again to help you and help your students. And then finally, responsiveness. And I really hope everybody agrees on that one. That's not something you get from all platforms or all businesses, but we're always there ready to help if you pick up the phone or send an email our way. So the final thing I will just go through before I hand over to Sean is just a bit of a case study, again, to try and highlight some of the benefits of this move to Classroom 42 as the new home of PE Classroom. But just a bit of a case study, because we have already got some schools with us who started out as PE Classroom users, maybe even many years ago, and are now using Classroom 42 across multi-subjects and across the school as a whole school membership. So this case study is Cardinal Newman Catholic School, and I was looking back through the stats, and they've been members of PE Classroom for many years. They started out in the early days when we just had resources available and just had the teacher package. Over the last few years, they've then, as we've developed the teacher and pupil package and the online tools, they've decided to give that a go, and they've stuck with that. And then more recently, just over the couple of months, we met with the PE teacher and the deputy head, who's also a PE teacher, and they've decided to go and try out Classroom 42. And Sean's actually running a CPD session for the rest of the school tomorrow. So your history teachers, your geography, your science, in order to get them set up and using Classroom 42. And I think that is our vision at this point. So we know that the PE Classroom teachers are so important to us as an audience, and we're going to make sure we keep offering you as much support as possible. But we really hope that you'll be there to sort of showcase the platform to other teachers, because you've seen those benefits over the years. So we hope that the rest of the school, the rest of the teachers, the students as well, can start to benefit from all those different subject areas. Right. That's probably enough talking from me for the time being. So I believe I'm passing on to Sean at this point. Are you there, Sean?
I am indeed. Thank you, Tom. What a journey that you've been on there. I'll be honest, I'm a bit gutted because you've taken all my questions for the Q&A later. So I'm going to have to come up with some new ones after this. But yeah, I am meeting with Cardinal Newman tomorrow, and I'm going to be spreading the PE love wider reach. And that's kind of what my job is at Classroom 42 in the PE classroom. Just to introduce myself, hi everybody, thank you for joining us again. I know I've been in touch with quite a lot of you over the last few months, and some even before that when I was a PE teacher. I just want to sort of give you a brief introduction, because looking at the survey feedback, and a massive thank you to everybody that took the time to let us know your thoughts and feelings on what was going on at the moment and what was going to help you with your resources that you're members for. You know, on there on the right hand side, the big thing that stands out to me is maintaining that PE specific expertise, and we're in a really good place. You've just heard from Tom and his experiences. Just to let you know where I'm from if I haven't met you before. So my name's Sean, and I was a PE teacher for 15 years at a large secondary school in Milton Keynes. I thought I was a bit of a lifer there, so I stayed at the same school with the exception of my placements, but I became the head of PE, and I was there for 8 years. So lots and lots of lovely PE related successes. I remember going to County Cup finals, remember going to cross country, big meets finals, all sorts of really positive experiences. My last sports day in particular, standing up on the stage was a wonderful experience that will never leave me. As those of you have run them, it never leaves you, the planning and organisation for those things as well. But you know, I've been thinking deeply for a while about the PE curriculum, assessment, progress, and the the kind of the wider qualification landscape. I've done a few extra bits. I've worked for the Youth Sport Trust as well as a PE catalyst. So I've been sharing the love on things like concept curriculums, which we embedded in our school as well. And I've done a little bit of delivery on qualification PE for Pixel as well. So in terms of the expertise that are within our small but growing team, we're definitely still PE centric. I mean, just taking a look at some of the survey feedback that you can see there, you know, it's not anything that I wouldn't expect from the PE fraternity, really. You know, we trust one another, we work together, we develop, we collaborate, we communicate really, really well, and that's something that you guys want to still see happening, and I can assure you it's top of our agenda to do so. We also innovate and move things forward, whether it's on court, on pitch, tactically, or whether or not it's part of our teaching. We move forward and we try to move our pupils forward as well, and that's something that we're going to be looking to keep. Making sure that things are teacher centric and pupil centric as well is going to be key, and giving you what you want and need, which is exam focused, easy to use exam focused material and resources, is going to be completely key. I did just want to hone in on a couple of little bits and pieces of the feedback as well. Tom, if you wanted to move the slide on for me. I mean, I joined PE Classroom because I know that they practice what they preach. About 2 years ago, I signed up for the teacher and pupil package, having had some of the resources before. And you know, the biggest thing for me is that I improve my pupil outcomes with my GCSE class. I've been there, I've done it, I've used the resources, and I know where it could go. I know how it can support more people around different subjects, but also more PE teachers out there. The biggest thing with all of those company values since I've joined the organization as well is, you know, in terms of trust and community and responsiveness, it's exactly the way in which I thought it would be, and that's something that we're looking to try to develop and continue on. You know, the weekly starters, you guys want to see the weekly starters continue. I absolutely do as well. Tom's on them at the moment, but that's something that I would imagine I'll take over in September when I'm able to share that first one, which is related to England winning the World Cup this year. So that's something I'm really looking forward to try and taking on board. But absolutely, they're so valuable, and not only the weekly starters, but also the additional resources that have been sent out over the past few years as well, whether it's to do with answering longer exam questions or whether it's command verb posters that we can send out as well. Yeah, absolutely, everything's going to be there, specification specific, and we're going to be looking to try and make sure that we maintain that high quality service with our weekly email shots as well. The key thing about the PE Classroom is, you know, it is easy to use, and that's something that we want to keep on going. Now, I want to bring a few more extra features in, and I know Olivia does as well with regards to the assessment tracking, but one of the biggest things that I always saw was, you know, I'm able to instantly see what the next steps are, what the feed forward is. I'm able to look at it, view it, and we don't want to overcomplicate it. We want to keep to that principle that this is going to be something that is going to save us time in every facet that we're using it for with our classes and our pupils. So yeah, that's absolutely key, and we're going to continue to build that in. The level of customer support should definitely remain. One of the biggest anecdotes I have, in my early years, I set an exam, but I wasn't 100% sure on all of the functions and the buttons and actually where I kept that exam. And I'd prepared it in advance, and I had my pupils in front of me, and I got hold of Lorna straight away saying, how do I get to this exam that I finished? And genuinely, by the time that I had finished the register and got over my little panic, Lorna had sent me a screenshot and told me that's where it is, and I was ready to go. That level of service is absolutely invaluable, and at the moment that's something that those of you that have been in touch with me in the past couple of days, you know, I've been able to get back to you and pivot straight away, because you guys are the most important thing, making sure that you can utilize the platform well and quickly. There's a couple more as well to consider. You know, in terms of PE specific features, that's something that we're not going to lose. You know, my entire role now is considering how we can maneuver ourselves, not only on a wider subject basis, and I am involved in creating some of the content and spreading the love, as I've said, from PE to other subjects who really need that support as well. But one of the biggest things that I'm keeping an eye on is the curriculum and assessment reform that's going on in 2028, and ultimately you guys will be keeping an eye on that as well. But it's down to me to make sure that for each of our courses we remain not only spec aligned, but we are first in line to make sure that you have got all of the resources that you need as and when those specifications are released. So that's, you know, before you even need them, we're going to be thinking about what we're going to be producing, how it's going to tweak and change from where we are at the moment, but it's all going to remain the same in terms of the same standard. For example, yesterday BTEC released the information that the BTEC First Award is going to be moving on till 2030. So we're now pivoting to how we can enhance that particular course, as opposed to looking at where we might be seeking a replacement if they're bringing in a new spec. So we're staying on the cusp of those for the PE community as well as everybody else. You know, the personal feel, we're here tonight. We've talked through living the values, and we hope that we evidence that and demonstrate it, not just talk about it every single day. So get in touch with us, please do. Continue to get involved in the surveys. Let us know what you want. There's going to be a bit of a poll later on, and I'd be really keen to build the next steps of PE on Classroom 42 from the community that's in front of me this evening. And again, I've talked about the ease of use. I agree, but if you think it's good now, just wait until you get to the new platform as well. You know, Olivia's going to be talking about some of the new things that are going on, but you know, the product is easy for people to log into. It's going to be even easier when we add things like single sign-on opportunities, and we get the ability to automatically bring in classes. And you know, the possibilities are endless, but the big message from me now is that we're the same team, we're the same people, we're very PE centric as we are at the moment. We're going to be expanding out to share that love, but the biggest thing is, you know, get in touch with us, because we'll be able to deliver that same high quality provision that we always have been.
Great, thank you, Sean. Just double checking everyone can see the screen and hear me all okay. Okay, brilliant. So hello, I'm Olivia. I'm the head of product here at PE Classroom and Classroom 42. And like Tom mentioned, I've been with the company for the past 4 years, more so behind the scenes. So it's really great to speak with you all this evening. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about what is changing when the PE courses move over to Classroom 42. Hopefully get you excited about some of the new updates and features that you'll find. So back in April this year, we took all of our Classroom 42 courses and we moved them onto a brand new platform. We had really great feedback from this move, and so it's given us the confidence, and we know that we're ready to move all of the PE courses onto this new platform as well. Make it nice and easy, both for teachers and pupils. As one of the comments there was about how pupils have so many different platforms to log into. So if they can log into just one platform, have one login and find all their subjects all in one place, it's going to make life a lot easier, both for you and your pupils. So the main things we saw with the migration back in April was a renewed modern design, faster speeds, and mainly the main one for us was to make it more accessible for pupils. So the first update that you will see once PE moves over to Classroom 42 will be the improved speed. This is something that we have had feedback from teachers, and some of the teachers I know were a little bit concerned about the speed of the platform, especially when we're adding it to a platform with so many other subjects. But I'm here to reassure you the speed will be definitely a lot improved. I'm going to show you now a quick demonstration that I just recorded on my screen this morning, both of the old platform, so the current platform that PE Classroom users use, and the new platform that you'll be using once you move over to Classroom 42, just to kind of see the difference in the speed. So I'll play both of these here for you. So I'm doing the exact same tasks on here. So you can see on the new platform, I'm straight away into the online learning page. I'm moving between tabs before the old one has even loaded. We're going between quizzes. We're going into the teacher dashboard, and you can see I've only just loaded Examinator questions on the old one. I'm moving between my results, having a look at class analysis. So you can see just here how quick it is to use the new site compared to the old one. It took me 30 seconds to complete the same tasks on the new platform as it took me almost a minute and a half on the old platform. So obviously if you're doing these day in and day out, how much time you will save on the new platform will hopefully be a real big difference, both for you as a teacher, but also for your pupils as well. You can see I'm still going on the old platform there. But yeah, it was a big priority for us to make sure that speed was something that will improve drastically for the PE courses. As we know, attention spans for pupils are very low, so we want to make sure that the platform is running as smooth as possible for both you and your pupils. The next update that you'll see once all of the PE courses move over to Classroom 42 is our adaptive AI feedback. Now, this is a feature that we brought in on our courses for Classroom 42, but once the PE courses move over, they will also benefit from this feature as well. So I'm going to exit out of here and take you onto the Classroom 42 website. We currently do have a demo course, which you can access if you go onto Classroom 42. If you go to courses, you'll find PE at the bottom here, and you can have a look for yourself. You can have a look around the couple of topics that we have for AQA GCSE PE, just to see how quick the site is and to see the new updates that you'll see once all of the courses go live. So you can see here, it's very similar in terms of layout to the current PE Classroom website, so it should be nice and simple both for you and your pupils to use. And you can see here I'm on Examinator, and you generate the exam questions just in the same way that you would on the current site. Now I will pull up an example answer for this question and pop it in. So just like on the old, the current PE Classroom site, pupils can type in their answer and click AI feedback. Now pupils will still get the standard AI feedback from our AI markers. So they'll be able to still see that, and that'll be the default AI feedback that they'll see. But pupils also have two extra buttons. They have a simplify button. This will break down the feedback into two steps, what went well and what is missing. Makes it nice and simple for pupils, gives some positive reinforcement in the first step, and just gives some really, really simple, easy, actionable what are missings, and linking it to the AOs as well. Sean worked really hard on the prompts for these and made sure that for the simplify, the reading age is lowered to make sure that it is accessible for pupils, and to really just make sure that, you know, pupils that are going to read the standard feedback and perhaps not take in a big paragraph of text, they can just click the simplify and just see everything broken down really, really clearly. The next button is our aim higher. So this will show pupils 3 kind of steps or ways to improve their answer to get into the next mark band in the mark scheme. So you can see here we have 3 action points, and they're really, really specific. So they will quote from the pupil's answer, they will give quotes of sentence starters, show them exactly how to incorporate the additions into their answer, and especially for these extended answers, it's going to be really, really useful for pupils doing those kind of 9 markers especially. So you can see here we're linking back to the AOs, we're getting questions about what they can look for in their answer, we're getting sentence kind of starters or sentence additions, so showing that after each example they should add a so that sentence, for example, and then gives them a specific example based on that question. So it's really going into depth to show the pupils exactly how they can improve on their answer. And then pupils can click retry and then have another go at that question to try and improve. So that's one of the updates that you'll see when the PE courses move over to Classroom 42. I also just wanted to quickly show you one of the updates we've made to Activity Generator as well. So again, just like on the current site, you can just select your filters and create your activity. And then hopefully it shouldn't take too long. There we are. And as you can see, it creates your activity just the same as it would on the current site. However, we've got a couple of additions. So the first addition that we have is this check answers button here. So this checks the answers as it says on the tin, but it's really great for checking the activity, making sure you're happy with all of the AI generated answers. And it also means you have the opportunity to use Activity Generator in other ways. So for example, Sean really loved this feature because he thought putting it up on the smartboard, for example, for pupils and getting them to, you know, put their hand up, have a go at the tasks, it just means that you can click check answers, and without even having to set the activity or create it, you can do that as a kind of a whole class task, which is really, really, really useful. Another addition that we've made to Activity Generator is this edit content button here. So if you click that, you get complete control of the activity, and you can change the text, you can remove things, you can add things, you can change the answers. Completely puts you in control of the AI generated activities, which I think is something that we always want to do. We strive to be as innovative as possible while also still giving teachers full control over anything that is generated by AI, because we know obviously that is really, really important, but it also means that you can tailor activities exactly to what you want them to be. So for example, exactly what you studied in your previous lesson, you can change the fill in the blanks, for example, to make sure that it's exactly the wording that you used in your lesson. And it's just a really great feature. So you can then change that, save it, and then that will be shown for your pupils when you send it to them. Okay, so the final thing I wanted to show you all is a new update that we are hoping to make over the summer for the next academic year. So this will focus on the quizzes. So obviously we currently have quizzes on the PE classroom, and they are very, very popular. We get great feedback from PE teachers from the quizzes, and we know that you use it a lot with your pupils from the stats we get, especially in the run up to exams. And we also get a lot of great feedback and suggestions from our quizzes. So we've obviously taken on board all feedback, and we are going to be upgrading them for you. So the first upgrade we'll be making is adding hundreds of new questions. So this is perfect for pupils that are going to be using the quizzes week in, week out for end of topic tests, for homeworks, for revision. You don't have to worry about the same questions coming up again and again if they're revising the same topic. They'll have a much more array of different questions and question types for all of the topics. Then the next feature we'll be bringing in is a teacher tool to allow you to set quizzes. Now, this is something that we've had requested a lot from teachers. I know a lot of teachers use the quizzes for homework especially. So being able to set a quiz and pupils can log on or follow a link and go straight to the quiz that you want to set to them will be really easy and make life a lot easier for you, especially when tracking results as well. So it will work just like Exam Builder does currently. So you'll be able to filter your topics. You'll be able to filter by difficulty level as well. So for example, if pupils are just getting started with a topic, or if they're revising it at the end of the year, you can change the difficulty based on that. And you can filter by question type. So we'll have lots of different question types like multiple choice, matchups, fill in the blanks, lots of different question types. Then just like Exam Builder, you'll be able to just select the quiz questions and add them to your quiz. So you can build it exactly how you would like it to be. You would also be able to search for particular keywords if you want to really tailor it to the topic that you've just taught, for example. Or you can choose a random set of questions based on your filters for however many you want to do. So for example, if you know at the end of each week you're going to do a topic test of 15 questions, you can just set those and choose 15 random questions, and then that will be nice and easy. It's just one click, and then that will create a quiz for you. You'll then be able to set the quiz to your pupils, and it will show up within their My Work tab and on their dashboard. They'll be able to complete it online and get the instant marks for that quiz as well. So there's lots of really new and exciting updates to look forward to when the PE courses move over to Classroom 42. But yeah, we're also always looking for your feedback. So I will move over to Sean to go through a question.
Fabulous. Thank you for that, Olivia. Yep, I think it's time for the PE Paul to speak. So what will we do prior to the curriculum reform that's coming up? Over the next year or so, we're going to be moving over and consolidating what we've got on Classroom 42 and making sure that, and I mean, I've used the pace in between, the speed in between PE Classroom and Classroom 42 really is, you've got to go on and have a look at the trial unit to go and have a look. But look, what would you guys like to see? I know we've had loads and loads of people email us previously, but what would you like me and the team to consolidate and to move forward with over the next little bit of time? I think either John or Tom, I think it's John's got a poll which is about to go into the chat Absolutely, look at that, perfect. So just to talk through a couple of the options here and get cracking, guys. You don't have to wait for me to finish speaking. You know, are there any additional PE course specifications? If there is enough clamour for them, then we'll definitely take it in to have a discussion about. We've got most of them covered. I know we've had some discussion previously about the level 3 BTECs. We know that they're changing into V levels fairly soon, but if that is something that for you personally, that's going to be what we want PE Classroom to be working on, then please do pop that in. Let us know which specifications in the chat would be great. Improved AI responses. You know, I always found that with my pupils, myself and them, they found sort of between 95 and 97% was the kind of feedback we were getting, and that matches up with what we get from teachers as well. However, there's always room for improvement, and if that's somewhere where you'd really like us to focus our time, then perfect. More mocks. You know, we brought out the mock feature last year. And we've got one paper per quiz. We don't get loads of feedback directly about the mocks, but silently it may be that you guys are really using them, and another paper would be on there. Just bear in mind, the best thing about the mock feature is that it doesn't feature any questions that are already on the site, so they're all brand new and the pupils haven't had the chance to go through and retrieve all practice you know, the daylights out of them. So that's why they're a great feature. In addition to that, we've got help and support rolling out to other subjects. If you'd really value a little bit of support and CPD, maybe some FaceTime with us to be able to understand how best to go and do this. Just imagine that PE Classroom 42 was embedded, so when pupils came to your classroom, they already knew how to use it and they could go ahead and do that across subjects as well. That'd be really powerful. Is there any additional non-PE courses that aren't on there already that you want to go and say, yeah, this is what I'd like to have on at the moment? That'd be great. Or if there's anything else that we're missing and you'd like for us to focus our time on over the next year whilst we're expanding subjects, expanding and enhancing the courses, is there any particular focus that you would like on there? So please do use that function throughout the next little bit of time, and we may come back to it at the end and see where we're going. It looks like Mox is slightly got a nose ahead at the moment, which is great, but yeah, do keep on using that poll. Okay, I'm gonna man the chat now, and is it John I'm handing over to now? Apologies if it's not.
Tom, it's over to you.
Over
Q&A
to me.
time.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Q&A. Thanks, John. Yeah, we wanted to. I think there's already, based on that poll, it looks like there's a few comments coming in, which is a fantastic start. But we wanted to open up to give you a chance in the chat to ask any questions, and this can be about anything at all. So this could be about the current tools on PE Classroom, about how things are changing and what's staying the same as we move over to Classroom 42. It could be anything we talked about tonight in terms of the new features, the journey. But yeah, I'm happy to sort of open up for the next 5 minutes. We've called this, John said, called this founder Q&A, but I get the feeling as the questions come in, I'll be saying, oh, Sean, you're probably best to answer that, or Olivia, you're best to answer that one. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, let's have a look at what we've got. John, did you want to pick out a couple as they come through, or do you want me just to go ahead?
Can you see the chat, Tom?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say pick out a few that
Fantastic.
you would like to respond to.
Great.
So at the moment, I think it's very much people giving their feedback, Tom, on what's been going on. But let me get you started. You were over in the UAE. There may be a couple that are on the chat that have done the same thing. What's your abiding memory of the difference between PE provision there to what you experienced in the UK and what you do now?
Oh, what a question. What a question. So I think I'd go back to, so I remember when I started in particular, it was the lack of networking that was available, which is what, as I said, earlier on, it was going out there sort of on your very much on your own, and you obviously had your colleagues at your school, but you didn't have a network around you to sort of lean on for resources and for support when teaching the course. And it took a while to build up that network and to be able to lean on different people. Obviously, the other one is the practical sport, as you would imagine. So I think it was obviously the heat, but also it was the wide variety of sports that we would offer practically had to offer practically for GCSE. So I remember you'd have pupils who were coming to the school who had moved from all over the world. It wasn't just pupils who were from the UK. So you'd have pupils who were lacrosse specialists, for example, or those who were skiers, or those who were kayakers. So you almost had to try and work out and become a little bit experts in each of those sports in order to grade them. So yeah, obviously some differences. I'm sure there are, as you said, other teachers in the chat who have followed a similar journey to that.
Sean, you mentioned the lesson starters before, and how these are going to stay the same. Are they the quizzes?
Yeah, I mean, there's two elements to this. So if you're talking about the weekly starters that Tom brings out, they generally tend to give the opportunity for pupils to start considering a key question. So it's always linked to a specification point, but it will go out and it will discuss. I know there was a debate today with regards to the World Cup. Tom, you sent one out, and there was a key question at the bottom of it, which was quite insightful. Do you recall at the bottom of the starter? It was a debate point about a very specific specification point. I can't recall now. I did get your email, I promise. But those weekly starters, they're not quizzes that are set. They're just a starter that goes out. There's booklets and other bits and pieces that are on there as well. If you're talking about the lesson starters that Olivia mentioned, now this was a game changer. Soon as I saw the show answers button, I have to say it was absolutely brilliant, because I used to get my pupils to come in. Many of you will be in the same situation where we had a standardized format. Every pupil needed to come in. They needed to get started on a do it now task. That would be up on the board. And for me, that was the PE classroom. But I always had to know the answer. And I know that sounds terrible, but it could have been a very specific biomechanical point, perhaps, for A-level PE. And then it flashes up at you, which is fantastic. And it's there, and we're doing the fill in the gaps. My pupils would be there with their mini whiteboards, and they'd be constructing their own versions of the answer, ready for me to cold call, go around the class, and then ask for their responses. And then for me, it's just that little bit of trepidation of click on the button. Oh yeah, we did get that right in the end. Now we've got the show answers button, so it takes that away. But it also enables pupils to go and do it themselves. You know, I don't have to be involved in the situation. They love getting up and clicking it, dragging and dropping themselves. Now, because they can see the answers, they can all reflect without the need for me to tell them if an answer is right or wrong as well, which is absolutely brilliant. There's a couple. Sorry, yeah.
Thanks very much, Sean. It's really, really helpful to know about the starters. There are a few more questions coming in, and I'm just going to group the three of these together. First of all, just to confirm, will the platform now be called Classroom 42? And what does it stand for? I think on that second question, maybe we don't say that right now, because there's a little bit of a competition later this term, so look out for that. So we're not going to reveal it, but just to clarify, Tom, is it now going to be called Classroom 42?
Yeah. So the platform will be from September. It will be Classroom 42. But I think what we're trying to make clear is that it is still PE Classroom. So it's PE Classroom within Classroom 42 alongside all of our other subjects. So yes, you're going to be it's going to be classroom42.com rather than peclassroom.com, and you and your pupils will very quickly get used to going to that new area. But once again, yeah, I think it's just really important for us to get across. It's still the same people. It's still the great sane content and improving content as well. But it's a bit like the way we've sort of talked about it is it's almost like moving to a bigger house, I suppose, or a more suitable house as the family grows. So I think that's the best way I would put it.
That's a really, really good metaphor, and it's a bigger house, lots more space for other subjects too. This might seem like a really basic question, but do I use my PE Classroom login details to log in to Classroom 42?
Yeah, so I'll pass to Olivia, because I think there was that question, Olivia, and I just saw as well, a couple of people were asking about adding pupils, so same sort of thing. So I guess like how the classes will transfer across, and we've got a couple of new methods for that as well, haven't we?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So from the point when we move from PE Classroom to Classroom 42, which we will let you know as soon as that happens, and you'll know because when you go on the PE Classroom website, it'll automatically redirect you to Classroom 42. You'll be able to use exactly the same logins. You and all your pupils will be able to use the exact same login and password as you have been doing on the PE Classroom. So that'll all be migrated over. All of your classes will also be migrated over, so you won't have to do anything in terms of your classes or pupils. On the Classroom 42 website as well, we do actually have the ability to upload pupils via CSV spreadsheet. So that will be come into effect as soon as we move over to Classroom 42. So hopefully that will make it a lot easier for you to add your pupils to your classes. We're also looking at integrating with Wand, which will migrate with MIS systems, which will automatically add your pupils and classes. So those that are on, for example, our multi-course packages or whole school memberships will be able to use that to make that kind of process of adding pupils much, much easier, especially in September.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Olivia. There's some really fantastic suggestions coming through as well here in the chat. So BTEC level 3 support, something for us to consider expanding into, as well as how we upload the classes onto the system. I'm really interested to know, Tom, what's happening with our support? Is that staying the same? If people have a question, can they just get in touch at any time they want?
Yes, that is something a bit, obviously we went through the values a little bit. That's number one value is the responsiveness, which obviously integrates with the support that we offer. So I mentioned Lorna a little bit earlier on, who joined the company at a similar time. So second employee essentially, and she's still with us now. I know lots of you, as I said earlier, will email Lorna all of the time for a little bit of support or phone the office, and she's often the one who is on the other side of the phone able to help you out. So Lorna's still going to be there. She's still going to be your first port of call. But I think that's something we value across the team. So I think all of us, we're very happy for you to have our mobile numbers. If you want to get, our email addresses and this mobile number, you can give a call at any time, and we will be more than happy to help. And that's something that's definitely not going to change as we sort of move into Classroom 42.
So the process will be to keep things the same with the support, so it's very instantaneous. And if you want to upload a class, then just get in touch at any time. There's a question from Ian here. So sorry to have to talk money, and actually don't worry about that at all. Rather we just talk about things quite transparently. Can I just pay for PE membership and other subjects as standalone subjects? So it says in the membership, £299 for the whole school, £349 for PE. Is this the case? Tom, I'm going to give that one to you.
Yeah, so that's the case for at the moment, the Classroom 42. So with the whole school membership is our best value membership, and PE would be included in that. So for a school who wants everything, I think we've got a slide in the moment which shows all of the different subjects that we've done alongside PE. That's going to be a total of just under £3,000 for complete and teacher access to all subjects and all courses that we've got to offer. The 349 is the price that we've got at the moment for individual courses on Classroom 42, and that's through to July the 1st. It's a little bit cheaper, to be completely honest, it's a little bit cheaper than the PE courses at the moment, and that's because the PE courses have got a lot more to them at the moment. So the other subject areas have got a lot of the features and the tools, for example, Examinator, Activity Generator. There is content that the subjects don't have, so things like the resources and a couple of the other features and tools are only available for PE. I'm not sure I can see, but I might be breaking up for a couple of people, so I hope that message got across and that was clear on pricing.
What I would suggest is, in terms of any direct questions around pricing, we always want to work with teachers, and we understand the different constraints that schools are under, so please do get in touch at any point. Yes, to reiterate, well, I suppose ask if there's any more questions at that stage. I'm conscious we're reaching 8:30. No, okay, cool.
I think we've got a few coming through there. Some of them are still specific to some of the things that we want to see. Thanks so much, everybody, for putting your ideas in there. That's food for thought for tomorrow morning for me, to take to the team and see what we can do for next year.
Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone, for being a part of the journey and the experience today and learning about what's changing about the products. I really love what Olivia said about it being a lot quicker, basically, a lot faster to get student outcomes that reduces your workload and makes lives a lot happier for everyone. If we're looking at Classroom 42 and the subject offers that we're giving, I'd like to think of it as Key Stage 3 to Key Stage 4 across the humanities and sciences. So geography, history, RS, sciences, chemistry, physics, and biology. You can feed students through and ensure that they're learning in the same way at home in the lesson, wherever they are. We have GCSE, MFL, AQA, and of course some really exciting subjects coming as an ex-English teacher myself, English language, English literature, sociology, and business studies coming up too. And when it comes to the prices of this platform, now, you'll be pleased to know that we offer some really exciting discounts on wider, longer memberships. So for PE, the core price is £699 plus VAT, additional courses at £299 on top of that, £200 discount on 2-year memberships, £700 discounts, the most best value offer for 3 years, which is priced at £1597. The whole school package for £2999 plus VAT, including all PE, science, humanities, MFL, and future upcoming courses. I'm going to go on to the next slide. When it comes to the 800 plus resources legacy pack, probably a key reason why we're all here, this is a fantastic piece of work that Olivia's put together that spans the 8 years of PE Classroom's existence. The way to get this is to do this right now. It is to put your name, your school into the chat, or just your name, or alternatively, if you go on to the next slide, it is to email us directly to say you were here in the webinar, clearly state what you wish to purchase. You'll get £100 discount on top of any purchase for next year if you buy between now and July the 31st. The 800 plus resources legacy pack will be sent out to you tomorrow. So you'll see that instantly and be able to use it straight away with your pupils before now and the end of the term. And don't we all just wish that summer holiday is just around the corner. I can see some names, some schools are going up in the chat. Brilliant, thank you so much for all of that. Tom, I'm just going to hand it over to you just to say thank you very much and wrap things up before we say good night to everyone for joining.
Yeah, just a massive thank you everyone for joining us, and yeah, just don't want to get too sentimental, but for being part of the journey over the past 8 years or so. Yeah, we're really looking forward to continuing to be able to support PE teachers to an absolute maximal level, and I think you can hear from my experiences, obviously as a PE teacher, Sean as a head of PE as well, but also the rest of the team, that remains a very key aim and a key goal to us. And we know how important the PE community will remain to us. So yeah, many thanks for attending tonight. You can drop any of us an email at any time if you've got further questions, or if you would like some CPD or support as we move across to Classroom 42. But yeah, you'll continue to hear from us, of course. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you joining us. Talk again soon.
Super. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening. I look forward to working with you soon. Take care.